Hello, crafty friends. This is Adrienne Boese of Alice Scraps Wonderland for Scrapbook.com. Today, I'm going to share how to easily create shimmery die-cut embellishments with Tim Holtz Distress Spritz and cardstock. And be sure to stay to the end, as I'll also be showing you how you can turn this card into a scrapbook layout. I'm using a bunch of Scrapbook.com exclusives, all of which you can find linked in the description box below. I start by creating a textured background on white mixed media cardstock by applying Cloud Whip through one of the layers of the Heart Patterns stencil. I'm using the long palette knife attachment on my Sizzix multi-tool to apply the medium. I peel off the stencil, place it in a stencil bath, and then allow the card base to dry fully. I'm just showing how easy it is to clean off your Scrapbook.com project grip mat with a little water. I first use a paper towel to clean off the majority of this paste so I can toss it in the trash. Then I use one of these Scrapbook.com crafty cleanup cloths to get the remainder of the paste off and any paper towel dust. And that makes this project grip mat super clean. I'm using the 4th and 5th largest and the 3rd and 4th smallest of the nested A2 arches, which I've just marked here for myself using some mint tape. I'm also using some leaves and flowers from the Market Bloom Floral die set, some letters from the Basic Bold Alpha die set, and the word love from the Inspire die set. For cardstock, I pull out the 6x8 pastel glossy cardstock, selecting the purple and the peach. I want to add a little sturdiness to the arched frames I'm cutting, so I'll also pull a few more sheets of the white mixed media cardstock. While I am using the magnetic magic mat, I want these arches to all be cut exactly the same, so I use a bit of mint tape to hold the two nested arches together, cutting the large frame and the small frame once each from the peach. To make the full use of this sheet of glossy cardstock, I nest the larger and smaller frames together and then cut off the excess cardstock with a pair of scissors. And because these cardstocks are thicker, I do a couple passes for each die in my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. As I cut out the dies, I place my cuts in my Scrapbook.com stack and sort trays so nothing gets lost as I'm crafting. Then cut the larger arched frame twice from the mixed media cardstock and the smaller frame once. Hang on to the full inner offcut from one of the large frames. We'll be using that in a minute. Using the inner offcut from the large arched frame, I apply some of the Gold Vintage Script rub-on transfers, running it through my die-cut machine to apply it easily. Then using the larger of the two smaller arches, I die cut an arch from the cardstock with the rub-on transfer. For the words for this card, I die cut out the word love and you from the purple pastel glossy cardstock. Just like with the arched frames, I want to make these die cuts thicker, so I select the purple from the Candy Smooth cardstock pad and die cut each of the words 3 times. Then I die cut the flowers and leaves from a pink and green from the Jolly Smooth cardstock pad. I cut 2 of the large flower and 3 each of the medium and small flowers. Then I cut 2 each of the leaves. To glue the layers of the die cuts together, I use Scrapbook.com's Artiste glue with the precision metal tip, placing my die under a clear acrylic stamp block to help bond the layers together. Here you can see me gluing all of the layers of the large arch frame together. And for time's sake, I won't make you watch me glue everything. I've already glued the arch frame layers together for the small arch, and now I'm applying the 1/8 inch 1mm thick foam to the back of the small frame. Just a little tip here. If you peel the backing off your strip of foam, you can get it to go around the curve of the arch much easier. Before gluing the small frame onto the background with the rub-on transfer, I apply some Artiste glue so I can wiggle the frame into place perfectly. Again, I've already glued the layers of regular cardstock together for my words, so here I'm just showing you some of the process of gluing the top glossy layer on. Now for the distress part. What I want you to take away from this tutorial is that you don't have to spend a ton of time creating intricate distress ink backgrounds to use Distress Spritz. You may have seen this tip from some other crafters already, which is to die cut from different colors of cardstock and then ink your die cuts to quickly add a lot of depth and saturation to your dies. But you don't have to stop there. Once you've added some Distress Oxide to the edges of your flowers, you can mist on some Distress Spritz to take these die cut embellishments to the next level. For the flowers, I've used Worn Lipstick Distress Oxide and Tattered Riz Distress Spritz. After cleaning up the mess from the flowers, I then do the same for the leaves, this time using Bundled Sage Distress Oxide and Distress Spritz. Before assembling my card, I trim 1/8 inch off each side of the card base to create clean edges and so that I can mat the card. I used the same pink as the flowers for matting, using Scrapbook.com's dotted adhesive to adhere the white textured base to the mat. I want to add a little more height to the large arch, so I apply the 3mm thick foam strips and then place it onto the center of my card base. Then I use the 1mm thick 1/4 inch wide foam adhesive for the small arch. I place only one strip down the center so I can layer flowers under it later. Then I use a combo of foam strips and Artiste glue to add the word U to my card. I place the foam where the letters overhang the frames so they don't droop. Then I use Artiste glue to adhere the word love to the card. Before adding the flowers and leaves, I give them just a hint of shape using the Tim Holtz Sizzix shaping kit. This step is totally optional, but I just love the way it brings the florals to life. Next, I add all the florals and leaves using Artiste glue to adhere them. Don't be afraid to cut off any excess part of the leaves to help get the leaves situated exactly the way you want. These are your dies, and you can definitely customize them however you want. And because I firmly believe that you can never have too much sparkle, and let's face it, that's what this project is all about. I add some pink fresh amethyst glitter drops to the center of each flower using the Scrapbook.com Craft Pick Pro tool and Artiste glue. And just to fill in some of those spots around the flowers, I add some of the leaf glitter drops as well. I just love the pairing of the sparkly gems with the sparkle of the Distress Spritz and the shine of the glossy cardstock. It definitely makes this card special. And here's that scrapbook layout I promised. You can totally translate the design idea and the Distress Spritz die cut embellishments to a larger project or even something smaller like a mini album or memory decks card. Don't forget to like this video and be sure to check out the description box below, not just for the supply list, but also for links to my socials and my Scrapbook.com gallery for even more inspiration. Until next time, happy crafting!